As a professional psychologist, I have 6 guaranteed strategies that will fortify you against insult. Hi, I'm Dr. Paul Jenkins, a professional psychologist, and the best way for us to remember these strategies, I think, is to put it into an acronym, so that will give you a way to remember. You have a S.H.I.E.L.D, S.H.I.E.L.D, a shield against insult. Let's jump in. The S in the word shield stands for say okay. Practice this strategy. When you feel it, when the insult flies out there, when the zinger comes, simply say, okay. Saying okay does not necessarily mean that you agree. In fact, if this is an insult, you probably don't agree. But this comes from an idea that I got as I was watching a group of people doing some Tai Chi in a park. And as they were moving so fluidly out there, and I was noticing that there's no resistance. And I think that they teach this in many of the martial arts, where instead of resisting, you simply deflect. You absorb and deflect. And this is one way of doing that verbally. Okay. And you don't respond to it, you don't resist it. You simply say, okay. Kind of an interesting strategy. Experiment with that a little bit and see how it helps. The next letter in our acronym SHIELD is H. H stands for hold off on the response. I'll tell you where this one came from. 13 years of my career was spent doing child custody evaluations for the court. This is yuck work, folks. These are bitter, angry, divorcing people who can't figure out how to share their kids, and I got stuck in the middle of that. I saw so many times where this side and that side were battling with each other, throwing out insults and then responding to those insults. And it would just build and cycle and take on a life of its own. Here's something that I've learned as a psychologist. Defensiveness validates accusation. Write that down somewhere. Defensiveness validates accusation. The strategic non-response allows you to take away the validation for the insult. It's a beautiful strategy that's actually really easy to do. Just remember to hold off on the response. That's the H. The letter I in SHIELD stands for invest in self-care. Invest in self-care. It's also an I, for Pete's sake. Who is that? I. Take care of yourself. It's not anyone else's responsibility, especially the person who's throwing out those insults, to take care of you. And I tell you what, if you're depending on them to feel okay about yourself, you've got a problem. So invest in self-care. You take care of you. It's not their job to take care of you. That's your job. And that way you can strengthen yourself and fortify yourself against the insults. You become, as one of my clients put it, unflappable. Do you like that word? I don't know if that's even a real word, but I like it. Unflappable. Impervious to the insults that are being thrown out at you. Invest in self-care. We got 3 more letters to go, but one way to invest in your self-care is to stay with us here on the channel. If you like this content, please click the subscribe button. Hit the little thumbs up too. If you actually like it, let us know. That helps out the channel to grow, and it will make sure that you get all the content that will support your journey. Okay, let's jump to the E. The E in SHIELD stands for evaluate their expertise. All we're doing here is asking, are they really an expert on me? You know how you're going to answer that question. No, they're not an expert on you. Then why are we giving so much credence to whatever it is that they said? Evaluate their expertise. If they're not an expert on you, then that's about what their opinion is worth. This is going to help you stay in a mindset that you don't get tipped over by this. Remember, you get to be unflappable. evaluate their expertise. That's the E. The L in S.H.I.E.L.D. stands for live your truth. I love the way Wayne Dyer put this. I heard him say that one of our goals is to get to the point where we are independent of the good opinion of others. That was a little confusing to me at first, but as I've thought about it, am I doing everything to please them? Am I reacting and responding to what's going on over here outside of me from other people? Or am I really internally driven by my own set of values and priorities? That's what I mean by live your truth. Be who you are. I remember when I was co-hosting a talk radio show and my co-host said to me, "Hey, Dr. Paul, what other people think about you is none of your business." Wait, what? It's all about me, right? And he's like, "No, it's not about you. It's about them." This is part of what we get to do by living our own truth. We don't have to buy what they're selling. So when those insults come out, if you can remember that phrase, what other people think about me is none of my business. And then you get to go on living your life and your values and your priorities without being tipped over by whatever their opinion is. There's one more letter, D. The D in S.H.I.E.L.D. stands for decide on your response. See, you get to choose this. You might even ask yourself, how much do I want to be tipped over by this insult? Wait, can you do that? Yes, you can. Think about your thinking. Decide how much you want this to affect you. And just put it on a scale. Do I want it to affect me at a 0 or maybe at a 10? I prefer the 0. Making that decision in your own mind puts you in a position where you can actually let it go. It doesn't have to get inside of you and mess up how you feel. Here's another little acknowledgement about that. You know, the insult, whatever it is that they threw out towards you, either that is feedback about you or it is information about them. Which is it? And what if you get to decide which one it is? Look, if it's helpful information about you, then accept it with gratitude. If it's not, they are simply giving you information about them, and it probably says something about them that they're willing to say those kinds of things about you. So decide what position you're going to take there. That's your shield for the insults. Probably there's other ways that we could help you to get your mind reprogrammed. And if you're ready for the next video, that's exactly what we're going into. Cue that one up next, and let's work on reprogramming our mind to be more strong and positive.